Hey everybody, welcome back to the Game Tower. It's Mike, of course, and today I've got a Kickstarter preview for Borders of Kanta. So first, let's start with the theme. In Borders of Kanta, the land has been plagued. All of the different clans huddled together in the center city. And now, each individual clan is spreading out to take back the land from the plague in order to become the richest and most famous in all of the land. So some of the highlights of the theme are the fact that it's very fresh in a lot of modern games. Your city building or dungeon crawling or out in space. What Lorne's done with this game is created a nice environment and a totally brand new world of his own design with amazing artwork that the mechanisms and the actions within the game truly integrate well with the theme that is presented to you. And the theme is simple and straightforward enough, yet universal in its application, that anyone can relate with being a clan and knowing different people, different language backgrounds, and experiencing the barriers that come with different languages. So in Borders of Kanta, you're going to be placing tiles. You're going to be trying to match up these different colors. Okay, so each color represents a language, and in order to make the connections, if you do not connect, you have to spend interpreter cards. So one scroll for one interpreter or one misconnection, or two scrolls for two, and sometimes you may have to overspend. The theme really comes alive in the mechanisms because you might be just laying tiles and building in abstract patterns, but you really are spreading out and taking back over the land. As well as tile laying and pattern building, you're going to be set collecting as you move up these various tracks based on where you've placed your tiles. And once you collect a set of 3 landscapes, you'll be rewarded with more resources. Of course, only 3 out of the 5 different landscapes will reward you with resources. Another aspect of the game that mechanically fits really well with the theme is the point scoring. You gain points whenever you complete circles. So you're completing basically cities per se, and their connectedness produces extra value and gold for all the citizens within that circle. The other thing that I really like that really hones in on the theme is whenever you cure a plague land, the inhabitants of that land reward you by gifting you gold for cleansing their land from the plague that once burdened it. And the nice thing about that is that some of the plague tiles will only pay 2 gold because sometimes the people of that land just don't have that much wealth, whereas some of them can pay up to 5 gold, which is obviously a very wealthy area. Another really enjoyable aspect of Borders of Kanta is that with the various clans that you'll play as, you get special actions that are specific to that clan or benefits 2 basic actions from that clan's abilities, and each clan will change the way you play and approach the game, which makes it extremely thematic and very enjoyable, as well as adds to the replayability. As far as components are concerned, you can see clearly that the artwork is quite beautiful, really well done, very vibrant. No question you're going to get an eye-catching game that's going to be worth having at your table, or if you're in a cafe, it'll stand out to others passing by. Component quality, it's very straightforward. One of the things that's nice about this game is that it's a minimal amount of components for what you need to play in order to play with more players. So you're not going to get a big heavy box with tons of chunky things. It's going to be nice, it's going to be efficient. The cost that you're going to pay is going to be well worth the quality that you get out of the game. Now let's go over the mechanisms. On every turn, you're going to be laying one of your tiles onto the board. You can place it anywhere, either adjacent to the city, which is the starting place, or adjacent to any other player's tiles that have already been played. However, if you are going to place, you do have to match up the borders so that your languages connect. However, once again, the cards are resources that allow you to overcome barriers if in fact your languages don't match up. The next main mechanism is the pattern building. Part of the tile laying is that this is truly an abstract game that's very much painted over with a beautiful theme that integrates well. But as it is a tile layer, you're going to be creating these abstract circles, and you're going to be looking for different circles to make with more strategic plays as the game develops. So the more people add tiles, the more you're going to see patterns that you can make use of. So this is the struggle of the game in trying to find the patterns that work best for you, such as over here. That fits. But as you can see, we've got one circle here, we've also got another circle here, and in fact, 2 more tile placements would make a 3rd circle there. So there's lots of opportunities for some high scoring and being involved in multiple scores. The other mechanisms that you'll find in Borders of Kanta are all within the resource deck. Within the resource deck, you will find heavy interactions with the raid cards and with the uprising, as well as the alliance support cards. Now, a raid card can be defended with another raid card, so it essentially cancels itself out. However, raid cards are a direct take that and literal steal from your opponents, where the person raiding has the choice between taking gold or taking a resource, randomly from your hand blindly. As far as the alliance support and the uprising are concerned, uprising is very interesting. It adds great depth to the game in that with an uprising, you can strategically take over a tile that will allow you to then control areas and take points from your opponent, as well as providing those points to your endgame score and supply. One of the other aspects of the mechanisms of Borders of Kanta is that there's a slight push your luck element, in that although there's a ton of tile laying and set collection that will get you cards, sometimes you don't have the cards that you need, and you need to push your luck to try and draw from the deck to get the cards that you need to help you complete the actions on the board. A lot of times you'll be looking for either interpreters or medicine cards to cleanse the plagues, or boats to build on top of lakes. Most of the times you're not going to be looking for the player interaction cards within the deck, but you do still have the opportunity to purchase cards and push your luck, if need be, to get what you need to complete a specific tile placement. As far as the complexity goes with Borders of Kanta, this is very much a family weight game. However, despite fitting within that genre of board games, it actually has a good depth of strategy and decision making that comes into the abstract foundation of the game. As I mentioned before, the different clans give you a different strategic approach to each game, and depending on the clan that you play with, you can have a very deep strategic challenge and approach, or you can have a lighter, more straightforward approach. Some of the clans that are easier to play with give you a basic ability that will allow you to overcome something such as the water clan can place on lakes without needing boats. This is a beautiful balance within the design of having simple rules and the elegance to have deep decisions. Of course, that varies on some of the clans you play with, but because it has an abstract foundation to it, you're going to have a depth of strategy just trying to see the patterns and determine which is the best scoring location for you to place your tile. Because of that variety and the different clans and the depth of strategy you can have, this game does have the weight within its mechanisms and design to entertain the heavier gamers, such as myself, who would rather play something like Sight or something with a 3+ weight, and it plays quick enough that it never overstays its welcome. There is, however, one drawback to the elegance of this game, and that is because it is an abstract and you are building these complex patterns of multiple rings, you can have turns where players get locked down in analysis paralysis because the tiles that they have to play with don't really match well with anything on the board, and they might be missing interpreters out of their hand resources. When this happens, the game can really bog down for one player's turn, but the upside of that is that it doesn't happen that frequently, and even when it does happen, the downtime isn't so painful. Even in a higher player count, I've played it up to 5 players with this. I haven't played it 6. The downtime at 6 might be a little bit painful, but at 5 it still hums along quite well. And it hums along so well because every player's engaged outside of their own turns, just watching the board develop and looking for those opportunities to score well. The player interaction cards that are within the resource deck also keeps players engaged in the game, because you never know when someone might want to raid your village or have an uprising in one of your states. Borders of Kanta, as you can see here, it will grow in a certain direction based on where the players are playing their tiles. However, game after game, you'll grow in different regions and push out in different aspects. The designer Lorne compared it to a plant growing. I would compare it to water flowing, in that Water goes where there's the least amount of resistance, whereas in Borders of Kanta, players place their tiles in the most opportunistic locations to score with their tiles. So although it might not be a plant and it might not be a stream, it definitely flows, and each gameplay is unique. With the different clans giving you those different strategic angles and approaches to the game, you get a different flavor every time you play with a different clan, which makes it quite enjoyable, especially with the depth of strategy changing with the different clans as well. Do I recommend Borders of Kanta? Absolutely. It's got a great price point, good quality offering, and a family weight game that has the elegance and depth to entertain heavier gamers, as well as a quick play time that never overstays its welcome, which is a really big aspect of gaming these days, where you get epic games that last for hours and you just don't necessarily have time for that. Borders of Kanta straddles the boundary between being weighty and being light, being family friendly and being heavy gamer friendly. It's kind of a beautiful, perfect balance in between all of those options, and plays within a reasonable playtime for what it offers. It doesn't overstay its welcome, and it's meaty enough not to bore you in the 45 minutes that an average game will take, depending on player count. With a 5 to 6 player game, it'll probably go up to 90 minutes, but the one beautiful aspect of the game is you can always scale the playtime with how many tiles players start the game with. And even if you're in a rush and you've got to clean up the game quickly, you can all reduce the amount of tiles you have and end the game sooner. The game is not locked down in the playtime because of the variability in the setup. So is there anyone that I wouldn't recommend Borders of Kanta to? Well, if you don't like tile laying, you're not going to like this game. And I feel sorry for you, because I enjoy tile laying. I think it's a great mechanism that's pleasing and enjoyable. Some people don't. So your mileage will vary based on how much you like that. That is the main mechanism. If you don't like tile laying games, it's not going to be for you. But as far as any tile laying game goes, Borders of Kanta does it extremely well and adds depth and elegance that I can repeat myself on, because it is that good. And it is a very sound game with a clean design. Very straightforward rule set, easy to learn, and has been edited and purified with the playtesting that has gone on. And that is it from the Game Tower. I hope you like this video. Comment, let me know what you think, and hopefully I'll see you on the Kickstarter page for Borders of Kanta, because it's going to be a good deal. And it's not going to sink your wallet, but also it could make a great gift for the holiday season coming up. Cool. So that's it from the Game Tower and this burly guy. I hope you're back, Borders of Kanta. See ya.